the cylinder. Okay. Now that we've got everything centered and laid down on the wheel, we're ready to go to start our cylinder shape. To make our cylinder, what we're looking for is something that's tall and thin, flat bottom to it. Okay, we'll start that. We've got our clay centered, so we can start going now. Get it up to speed. Very important to get it up to speed first before we touch the clay with our hands. Notice that our cylinder is perfectly round, centered. Now we need to make a hole right in the middle. The way we're going to do that, the easiest way I found is you take your knuckle here on right or left hand, it won't matter, and we just press down nice and lightly. Notice that I'm in close to my body. Got those points nice and solid. Very steady. We've got a concave surface now instead of a convex. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we need to open this up. And I find the best way for me to open it up is to take my middle finger, back it up with this finger, and drop my hand. Position myself over, hold very steady. Add a little bit of moisture. Put this hand and let it rest lightly on the wheel head. Use that as a fence. We come in here, we hold nice and steady so that we get a centered hole right in the middle of our clay. Now if this wobbles around, we need to cut it back off, go back to our wedging table, start over again. It has to be centered on the inside as well as the outside. If it isn't, we don't go on to the next steps of our projects. Okay, here we go. We've got our hole down there. We're going to turn our wrist. We're going to scoop our clay across the bottom towards this outside hand, leaving it like a fence. Notice I mentioned it was a fence. Fences don't move. So we're going to push it over to this fence over here. Okay, so we're going to come in here. I'm going to scoop the clay. That's the best way I can describe that. I'm going to scoop that clay across the bottom. We're going to scoop it across. The clay comes up a little bit. Add a little moisture. I can feel that we're getting a little friction, so I'm going to add some moisture. Compress this top just a little bit. Now we're going to have, we've got a donut kind of shape in here. The next thing we want to do is we want to pinch that and lift it up. And I find that the best way to do that is to take this finger right here, set it right there, nice and easy. Come in, we pinch, lift, and pull a little bit towards the center. You're going to do this in relationship to how fast that wheel is spinning. Notice that my arms are in tight to my torso, so I have more control, just like that. That just lifts, pinches, and lifts the clay up. We get some friction, add some more moisture. Another little key is, come in here sometimes and find that you can dig right at the bottom here. This is a nice spot to just stick that finger in there. We're going to come in here, and we're going to pinch and pull and lightly lift. And usually the first few times what happens is it's going to flare out like this. I'm going to let it flare out a little bit. All you got to do is just come in here and collar it back in just like that. Okay, there's the idea. We're just lifting our cylinder up. Usually it should take 2 or 3 pulls to do this. Well, as a beginner, it takes a few more than that. So we're going to pinch, lift, and pull, just like that. And this is the basis for all pots that we make. Everything is made from the cylinder, so until we figure out how to do a cylinder pretty well, we need a lot of practice. Keep working at it. One thing, we're going to look at this one, and we'll see if this is a decent cylinder or not, is we're going to take our wire tool, we're going to wrap it around our hand, our index fingers here. We're going to come in here, cut it, and look at it. Let's examine this a little bit and see what we've got. As you can see, we've got a flat bottom across here, so we've maximized the clay. Most beginning pots have a bottom that kind of looks like this, so we've got all this extra clay down here. We might as well use it to bring our cylinder higher. We've got even sides that come up, so this is considered a fairly good cylinder.